What's up, 3HL fans? Welcome to the 3 Show. I'm your guy, Vinny Paracelli. We've got a ton to get to today. College commitments, call-ups, playoff spots clinched, incredible matchups, highlights, and oh yeah, a kid in St. Louis just set a league record. Let's start with the latest college commitments. Andrew Logar of the Niagara Falls Powerhawks has committed to Buffalo State. The forward from the Cataract City leads his team with 63 points in 35 games. Logar also earned a call-up to Corpus Christi earlier this year and registered an assist in 6 games in Southern Texas. He currently has 142 career points in the NA3HL. Justin Gillis of the Wooster Oilers has committed to Gustavus Adolphus College. The netminder from Vermillion, Ohio, is currently 9-6-1 this season with a .289 goals against average and a .906 save percentage. He stopped 24 of 25 shots in his latest win on Tuesday against Toledo. Back to Niagara Falls we go as Brandon Schwiekert was called up to the Minnesota Women's last weekend from Hamburg. Schwiekert leads all Powerhawk defensemen with 34 points. In his 2 seasons, he has 30 career goals and 63 career points. Let's get to the highlights. The Rochester IceHawks keeping their playoff hopes alive as they take down the Wilmer Warhawks in overtime last Saturday. Lake Powell nets his 5th of the year, and Rochester is just 1 point behind Wausau for the final playoff spot in the Central Division. Speaking of final playoff spot, the Missoula Junior Bruins got a clutch goal from Misha Akinov in overtime to defeat the Bozeman Ice Dogs. They are also 1 point out of a playoff spot in their division. In NA3HL news, there is a new all-time goals leader. St. Louis's Jake Cox scored his 98th career goal on Sunday against the Atlanta Capitals. Let's take a listen to the call.
Hazelton up to Cox. Can he get it? Cox is in. Scores! There's the record! 98 goals for Jake Cox! Look at his face! Just look at his face! There is the record for Jake Cox. 98 career goals. The most in NA3HL history.
Congrats to Jake on his milestone achievement. We look ahead to the playoffs. 6 more teams have clinched playoff spots. Alexandria clinches a spot once again. They'll look to advance past the first round of the divisional semis for the first time since 2013. The defending champions will be joining the playoff party as well. Granite City has won 2 of the last 3 Fraser Cups and have plenty of playoff experience on that roster. The Helena Bighorns are back into the playoffs for the 2nd straight year. They lost in their first round matchup a season ago and will look for their first Fraser Cup tournament appearance since joining the NA3HL in 2014. The third West team here we're going to announce is the New Ulm Steel. They actually have a 7-point lead in that West Division as they look to get back to the championship tournament for the first time since 2016. They were 1 game away from the championship before losing in the semifinals in overtime. The Niagara Falls Powerhawks clinched their first postseason appearance in team history. Last season as the Lockport Express, they missed the playoffs by just a single point. They'll look to make a splash in their first postseason in the NA3HL. Lastly, Peoria will be continuing their playoff streak. They've been in the playoffs every year since the league's inception back in 2010-2011. They were the league runner-up in 2013 and will look to get back to that point this season. Coming up this weekend, Gillette and Missoula will do battle for the final Frontier Division playoff spot. The Wild currently have a 1-point lead with a game in hand, but that could change by the end of the weekend if Misha Katnoff and the rest of the Junior Bruins have anything to say about that. In the South Division, the top 2 teams, Texas and Atlanta, meet up for a 3-game series in North Richland Hills. Texas comes into this matchup on an 11-game win streak, while Atlanta will look to snap a 3-game losing skid. The last 2 league champions will meet again as the North Iowa Bulls visit Granite City. Not very often that both teams come into this series on losing streaks, but that is the case as the Bulls were swept at home by Metro and the Jacks were swept by New Ulm last weekend. The 2018 NA3HL Top Prospects Tournament rosters were announced on Wednesday. If you missed it, head over to NA3HL.com and see all 120 players selected for the event. All 6 TPT teams will be competing at USA Hockey Arena in Plymouth, Michigan on February 27th and 28th. The teams will play 2 games on day 1 and 1 more game on day 2 of the event. We've got a lot going on in the NA3HL as we get ready for the postseason and the Top Prospects Tournament. Before you know it, we'll be crowning a champion in Romeoville, Illinois, and starting to get ready for the 2018-19 season. Still a lot to do in the coming months. Be sure to join us next week as we break down the latest achievements and advancements, highlights, go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at NA3HL, and we'll see you next week right here on The 3 Show.